giving us directions. Go ahead, Doctor. We're ready? Everybody ready? Great. Dr. Maxwell.
Morning, everyone. Welcome to the first day of the school year for our Head Start students. We're here at Glassmanor and wanting to just reassure parents that are here and visit the class, make sure everything's going well. I think everyone knows that the Administration for Children and Families announced on Friday that they were going to give an interim grant to another organization in order to allow for the program to continue without interruption. You know from my earlier statements that has been our absolute fundamental number one goal, is to make sure that the children who were supposed to be here this morning have a program to attend and that they will have a program for the entire year, and that is the case. Kids are here. We've got people at every one of our Head Start sites this morning, and the reports that I've had are that everything is running smoothly in all of our 35 schools, 51 classrooms.
Just to repeat what Dr. Maxwell said, the reason we're here this morning, and we want parents to be assured who are dropping their kids off to, their young people off to our Head Start program, that one, their children are going to be safe. Two, the program is there. We're not going to lose the resources. It's not going to be a disruption in the programming. And the men and women in our school system who are doing a great job will continue that. Our main focus has been all along to make sure the program is kept here in the county and that people can drop their children off. The other is to make sure it's continuous. And thirdly is to look at what happened and to make the changes we need to. Not just for Head Start. I'm very pleased Dr. Maxwell has talked about the fact that throughout our school system, whether it's Head Start, whether it's kindergarten, whether it's high school, middle school, we want to make sure that everyone that's in our classroom and those who are teaching and working in our school understand that this is a culture of excellence. And that's what he's been striving for since he's been here. We'll continue to do that, and we'll make the changes that are necessary. With that, Barry will take some questions.
All right. Executive, what is your thought on this interim grantee? What would you like to see happen here?
Well, what I'd like to see with the interim grantee, that's a decision from HHS, is that they work with us. This is a temporary basis of them coming in. One, we want to make sure that the education that the children are getting is continuous, that there's no interruption with that, so we want to make sure that happens. But the job that Dr. Maxwell and Dr. Eubanks and I have is to make sure that after this temporary period, that the Head Start program continues in Prince George's County, and that not only it continues, but it's enhanced. And so we want to make sure, one, that they get in here and that there's no disruption. Parents don't feel a disruption.
Is this embarrassing for the school district and as you as a leader?
It certainly is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It angers me. But the next thing is I have to make sure these children are safe, that the parents have a place to send their children, and then we make the corrections so this never happens again. This program has been around 50 years in Prince George's County. The thing that Dr. Maxwell and Dr. Eubanks and I agree on is we need to continue a Head Start program in the county, and we need to enhance it. But we're going to make sure we get to the bottom of this.
Can we talk about some of those changes?
Corrections need to be made. According to the reports, federal officials notified the county in February that changes had been made in April, and then a few other issues were found, including the two involving students in June. Can you tell me more on those corrections? Who do you feel should be responsible or should be responsible?
Well, I mean, the ultimate responsibilities of anything in the county lies with the county executive, and that's me. The responsibility of the school system lies with Dr. Maxwell. So one, that's where it is. So it's our job, one, to make sure there's a program, which we're doing today, make sure it's continuous, and then get to the bottom of not just the incidents that were in the school system, not just the incidents that happened there, but to make sure throughout our school system we change the culture of what's there. I know Dr. Maxwell is committed to that. I'm committed to it. We're going to do everything we can. But this is the first day of starting that. When HHS, and I'll let Dr. Maxwell talk about it some more, but when they came in on the first incident, corrections were made and reported. The next two incidents were actually reported. What they came back and said is that there are some problems there in terms of some cultural issues that they want to make sure are addressed. We're committed to that. We were committed to it when they brought it up, and we're going to make those changes.
Can I ask Tracy, also, how long have you known about this, and what are your thoughts on Representative Donna Edwards' call for an independent outside review?
Well, I found out about the incidents that they were going to lose the money on a Friday before everything kind of blew up. And it was Congressman Steny Hoyer's office that contacted me and said there was a problem there, which I appreciate that, giving us a heads up so that we can come in. We knew that the school system was working on issues related to Head Start. I don't think the school system knew anything before we did. I looked at the timeline about losing the money. As for Congressman Edwards' letter, I appreciate her efforts. I know she's been a champion of Head Start since she's been in Congress, and we'll miss her. But our job right now is to make sure that the program is continuous, that there's no disruption, and that moving forward, that Prince George's County has a Head Start program. The other thing I would note is this was a federal investigation. I don't know if she missed that, but it was a federal investigation. That's why HHS came in. That's why we're sitting down with HHS now to talk about the continuation of the program.
Can we talk about the culture of reporting within the school system? This was federal oversight that found this issue. There was a parent or an uncle who discovered the caraway issue. But all of this happening with people having some knowledge of something happening within these systems, it stands to reason that without this kind of oversight, that there's a lot of failing to report going on within the Prince George's County school system. What are the thoughts on that?
So, as the county executive just said, Tracy, these last two incidents were reported and were reported properly. I think that what we learned in the Caraway case is that our people were not reporting the way that they should. You should all be aware that we went through a process of retraining every employee in the Prince George's County Public School System last spring, and we believe that it's that training that actually has put us in a place where these latest incidents were reported, and were reported in the way that they should have been. That said, I think that we continue to implement the recommendations of the Student Safety Task Force, and we will continue to work on the cultural issues that Mr. Baker alluded to. It is absolutely clear that, to me at least, that we still have some people to whom we have not gotten through about their responsibilities for the conduct in a system that wants to strive for excellence. I would say that the people who are the actual ones who are responsible for this will be held accountable for it in short order. And that is the way, in addition to the additional training, that we're going to make it clear to our employees that accountability will be there for them if they don't do what it is they should be doing.
We had the other incident at Weaver, a mother who came forward after her child wandered away from the playground. It was not reported to HHS. That child was transferred to another school because of it. But it was another incident that should have been reported for us.
One of the things, and that's actually a great question, and something that we have to be mindful. Even when we have these incidents, and Dr. Maxwell knows that, and we make changes, it doesn't mean it stops there. It doesn't mean that we stop the training and stop making sure that people understand the rules and regulations of reporting, and they'll be held accountable with just 1 year. It means that every year we have to be vigilant about how we make the changes. And every year, whether HHS or whether any outside agency is here, we should be looking at what we're doing inside our school system and inside our government, quite frankly. And that's the thing that's going to make this go away. That people know year in and year out that we're going to be monitoring what they're doing. We're going to hold people accountable when they don't report accurately, or that when we ask for changes to be made, those changes aren't made. So it is our responsibility to be extra vigilant going forward. We know there are going to be incidents, but to make sure, one, they're reported and they're corrected immediately. And the people who do those are sent away from our schools absolutely immediately. That we deal with them off our campus, that they don't have contact. That's the only way you're going to get incidents like this to go away. People have to know we're dead serious, and we are. So it has nothing to do with HHS, has nothing to do with losing money. It has to do with the fact that we expect excellence in Prince George's County. And it's unacceptable for anybody not to report, not to feel comfortable not reporting, or feel comfortable that they can do things and they can just walk back in the classroom. That's not going to happen. And Dr. Maxwell feels the same way I do, and so does Dr. Eubanks.
How did we get
Dr.
to this
Maxwell,
point?
can you address immunizations and what
Get that.
happened with the
Absolutely, and then I think we're going to visit a Head Start classroom here. So immunizations have been an issue in Prince George's County for a while, and part of that comes from not making sure that our parents and others understand that their children must be immunized in order to attend school. We began earlier than we have ever begun last school year to get kids ready for school to be immunized. We have worked with our media partners. I've talked with a number of you who are standing here today about the work that we've done. We've had calls home to children, and yet we still had, when we opened the school, several thousand children who had not had their immunizations, and so they were denied access to school with the direction to parents, get your children immunized, as we've been telling you for months and months and months, and then your children can attend school. I know I haven't gotten an update this morning, but the last update I got a couple of days into school last week, was that in just a few days we had dropped by 41% of the students non-compliant. In every school that I've been in and every school that the rest of my team has been in, we've been checking with the schools on those numbers, and they are dropping across this county very, very rapidly. I know here this morning at Glassmanor, I was told that there are only 3 children. They are brand new to the school. Everyone that was here before that are compliant, and I believe that in short order we'll have every child in Prince George's County compliant with their immunizations. Thank you.
Does the
Just make-
interim
make-
grant,
thank
does that replace that 6.4 million then?
Sorry, the question?
The interim grant, does that completely cover the money that was now taken away?
Right. My understanding, Dr. Maxwell, is the money has not gone away. It's the organization that's coming in outside that's going to run the grant. So the money, excuse me, the money is not lost out of the system. We want to make sure people understand that. That money is still here. The question going forward on an interim basis is who's going to manage the program. And there's going to be an outside group that's been identified by HHS to come in on a temporary basis now to manage the group. It still means Dr. Maxwell, Dr. Eubanks, and myself talking to HHS about what is the long-term structure, because there will be a program. What is the long-term structure of this program in Head Start program in Prince George's County?
Mr.
And
Baker,
this
the only question.
interim program, will they have any influence on how teachers are trained and how supervisors will respond to it?
I'm sure they're going to.
Those are all things that we need to work out in our transition conversations with the Administration for Children and Family under HHS.
They're all going
County
to be
Executive,
interviewed
very
again.
quickly, sir. What are your thoughts, sir, your support for Dr. Eubanks, and you have 5 other school board members who want him to step down? Could you just give your quick thoughts on that?
I've said this, I have all the faith in the world, Dr. Maxwell, Dr. Eubanks, that we're going to correct this situation. Our job right now is to be, and they've done it, is to be focused on our children going into the school system, is correcting the actions that were there, and to make sure the long term for Head Start is not only just kept here, but is enhanced. With that, they're
Explain
telling me
the logistics
that.
real quick of how they're going to interview, and does that take? I'm sure that's going to be a long process. So will they remain in place, the teachers, until they re-interview with that new?
Until the transition is complete, everything will stay as it is today. The money is here. The money will flow to pay the teachers that are in these rooms today across our district, the teacher assistants who are in our rooms across this district today, and all of that will get worked out in the conversations with them about the interim
Is
transition.
that weeks or months, the transition?
In our early conversations with them, I think as large and complex a district as they are, it could be a shorter period of time, but they said that, in their experience with large districts, it often takes a little bit of time.
Right. So we'll know that. Thank you.